creating a contact sheet with Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Bridge. So a contact sheet is just a thumbnail collection based on directory contents. And we can have a maximum of 30 thumbnail images per contact sheet. So this is how you would create a contact sheet. First of all, you'll need to open Adobe Bridge CC. So here's Adobe Bridge. And when you open Bridge, up at the top here, you do have a couple different ways to view your files. Of course, the metadata is the data that's stored with each photo, and you can see that if I click on a photo, I get the metadata information. I can attach keywords and do searches for keywords. It does not really matter what view mode you are in, because we're going to use a menu item here to create our contact sheet. So what we're going to do is locate the folder where your images are stored. So what I did is I navigated to the specific folder that has all of my examples. Then I'll need to go under my Tools menu here in Bridge, and towards the bottom is Photoshop, and I'm going to locate Contact Sheet 2, ... That's that ellipsis that tells me something else is going to open. So when I click that, you may get this message. If you would get this message, you might want to go back to your Photoshop and see if you've got something running or something open. I found I had to close all documents in order to let this work. So I'll go ahead and click no and check out what's happening in Photoshop. And this is what I've got now. So it went ahead and went through. You might have to try that a couple times. So here's my contact sheet. And what I'm seeing is some information on how I want to build this contact sheet. So it looks as though I'm actually in Photoshop, and that's what happened is Bridge took me back to Photoshop. So here I have some options. So of course I have my source up at the top. I'm going to use Bridge as my source. There are 14 files selected. That's how many images were in the folder that I specified. My document size, this is for my contact sheet now. So I'm going to choose an 8x10 at 300 pixels per inch. You can change your resolution and your dimensions, width and height. I also can choose to flatten all layers, which is a good idea because if you have files with multiple layers, it's going to get ginormous. My mode, so RGB is digital, of course. We can grayscale, CMYK, or lab color, and bit depth. Under thumbnails, this gives me an option to check how this is going to be arranged as far as placement. If you want to do across first or down first. So is it going to build rows or is it going to build columns first? And then I have the number of columns and the number of rows. I have rotate for best fit. If you want to rotate when necessary for a better fit, I'm cautious with that because I don't want to rotate an image that are not intended to be rotated. Use auto spacing, so it selects the space between the images. If I uncheck that, then I can check the vertical spacing or the horizontal spacing between the images. I'm going to go ahead and just use auto because it's simple. The last piece there is to use the file name as the caption. So that means that the file name will be listed right underneath the picture. I can choose the specific font if I want to and size if I want to. I'm going to go ahead and reduce this down just to 10 points because 12 gets a little bit big. Once I have selected my options and I'm satisfied with those, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now this takes a few moments. So don't keep clicking OK, OK, OK. If nothing happens, eventually you'll see the little spinning wheel indicating that it's processing. And I had an error in my file because I didn't have my images selected. Let's go back to Bridge and start the process over. So I have them selected now. Go to Tools, go to Photoshop, and go to Contact Sheet 2. All right, let's try this again. It remembered my settings. Click OK. And here we go. So it's starting to build it. What it's doing is it's going to grab each one of those files and take sort of a little image of it and place it on this contact sheet. This is a great way to work with clients, to show them different versions, to work with photography, to show what options are available. So now when I'm in Photoshop, I can save this as a PDF, I can save this as a JPEG, whatever type of file I want to save it as, and I have my contact sheet built.